Purpose-inspired TV is under construction. During this process, we invite you to step into the journey. By joining our team, you have the chance to shape the very fabric of this channel with your creative ideas and skills. We believe that the true essence of innovation lies in collaboration, and together, we can create something truly extraordinary. We will provide content that ignites your passion, inspires personal growth, and encourages a positive impact on society. Our focus is on delivering shows that are entertaining, thought-provoking, educational, and uplifting. We want to hear your voice, your vision, and your recommendations for individuals you would love to see on our channel. We aim to create a channel that resonates deeply with viewers, challenging them to think bigger, dream bolder, and live a life of purpose. So, join us today, and together, we can make a difference, one viewer, one show, and one purpose at a time.
So what's up, everybody? How is everybody doing? Yes, this is different. We're doing a late night tonight. Yeah, I got this subject that's been on my mind for a while, and I just got this urge to do it. So we're going to be talking about the economy, not really how it works, but what a lot of these words mean. So we've been, if y'all have been paying attention to what's been going on in the news lately. I know you've been hearing the economy over the years, but for some reason, the economy is big time in the news. A lot of stuff is being shaken up, turned upside down, smashed and blown up and chopped up to pieces, and all sorts of stuff going on with the economy now. So I wanted to do this to try to help some of you guys who are struggling, trying to keep up. What are they talking about with a lot of these different news reports or different, even TikTok videos, YouTube videos, Facebook videos? They're talking about different things that's going on in the economy. So I felt that I would just go ahead and try to break some of it down, so everybody, so that ordinary Joe understand what's going on with the economy and these different words that they're using. All right, so y'all with me? Y'all can be with me, work with me. So let's get started. So first of all, like I said, I think, I'm gonna go over like 10 different terms to try to explain what's going on. I think this is like episode 25 or something. But either way, let's go. Okay, today we're gonna tackle the topic of the economy. We're going to break it down. I'm gonna break it down so everybody can understand. Let you know where these words come from. Might need, where are they? Don't have them. Let me see. Yeah, no. See how this help a brother out. Yeah. All right, let's go ahead and get started with some of these words. What are they talking about? So we need to know, like I said, when they all these different news stories and people are saying different things and complaining about different things, what are they complaining about? So this is just a basic word, so you give you some basic understanding. You're not gonna get no degree from this, but you will get a degree of understanding. Okay, so we're gonna be talking about the prices, jobs, things that's going on in the news, and what is the Fed? What are they talking about? So let's get started. We're gonna start off with two good ones. First one is GDP. Do you know what GDP means? Anybody know what GDP means? Okay, GDP means gross domestic product. gross domestic product. So think of GDP as like a report card for the country's economy. It adds up the value of everything: the products, cars, phones, haircuts, even the fruit, vegetables that you get from the grocery store. All of that stuff is added up. And when you add it together, it tells you if the economy is doing well or if it's not. So are um, if people are buying, building, and spending, they add all that stuff together, and that means the GDP is growing. If people are not spending, people are saving their money, and people are not building products, the gross GDP shrinks. So long as everything is being spent, everything's still going good. So that's the GDP. And most of us, especially working people, we know this next word, word number 2, is unemployment. Unemployment. Yeah, I know if you worked a job, you know what unemployment is. A lot of people, they're under the threat of being unemployed. There's thousands and thousands of people um, that their jobs are at risk. So yeah, people know what that word unemployment means. We don't want to be unemployed. So most people know they add it up. So it's like a percentage of who wants a job, who wants to work, not the people who given up or having no plan, no intentions on getting a job. So these are people that's probably previously were working or they are filling out applications for a job. So that's the unemployment rate of people who are still looking for a job. So high unemployment means there's a lot of people struggling looking for jobs. Low unemployment means there's a lot of people working. A lot of people working, that means a lot of people are getting those paychecks. If you're getting a paycheck, you're able to spend. You see how that works? So the employees and workers, um, they keep the government running like a vending machine. You know what I mean? Okay, so I'm just talking about an ordinary employee. You go to work, so you're helping making products, and then you get a paycheck. You get that paycheck, you come home, you pay your rent, you buy your groceries, you pay your car note, you pay your electric bill. So as you're paying all these different bills, you're basically putting money into the economy to keep the economy running. So if it's less people working, there's less people putting money into the economy, and that's less GDP. But we know I say we, our government is kind of throwing a wrench. I told you a lot of this stuff is being torn upside down, topsy turvy. So like if you are going through the government and firing hundreds and thousands of people, you are taking jobs away from a lot of people, and they're not able to continue to put that money into the economy. So they're taking money from people to be able to pay rent. They're taking money from the grocery store. They're taking money from the barber and the beautician. So all those different people who were accustomed to those people working a job. So now, one person losing a job affects a lot of people. And even, not only the people that's just losing a job, imagine all the people that's being deported. I don't plan on this show to be political, but just think about it. If you taking thousands and hundreds of thousands, even millions of people out of the economy, you're taking hardworking people that's working hard. So you're taking good employees away from jobs, and now the money that they was making, putting back into the economy, is no longer going back into the economy. So we're getting hit with those people being removed, and we're getting hit with other people getting fired in the government, other positions. So yes, it's affecting the entire government, the entire economy. Okay, so we're going to move on to the next one. Well, we complain about the prices in the grocery store. Prices, prices, prices. Prices keep going up. So one word to explain that, it is, drum roll, y'all know what that word is. You know what it is. It is inflation. You hear that word inflation all the time. Inflation. Imagine your candy. Well, you remember, let's talk about a lot of old school people know old school people who used to talk about how much stuff used to how much stuff used to cost. So I can remember, I don't know if I did, like maybe my grandpa, great grandma, grandpa. I think they would say like they get a nickel. Maybe I don't even know. My mama told me this story. Like all she needed was a nickel. You can go buy a soda. You can buy a snack, some nabs, some candy, and still have some change left over with just a nickel. You know good and well that don't work now. So, and we can tell stories as we get older to our kids. I got one. I got one. I used to pay less than $1 a gallon for gas, but I think the first car that I used to drive was I think it was a '73 green Volkswagen with a sunroof that leaked. Yes, it was like 93. Like I think I might have been complaining when gas was like 95 cents a gallon. So now we're kind of happy that it's hovering around $3 here in Florida. So you see how that's inflation, where the product is the same. It's the same gas, but our dollar, the purchasing power. I know you probably heard that purchasing power is less now. So that's inflation. So we're continually watching inflation. So a lot of things are going up. So it's another word. I'm just throwing this extra in there called shrinkflation, where different products, they keep the products, the boxes, different things the same. No, sorry. They keep the price the same, but they shrink the size of the box. They shrink the amount of stuff that they're giving you. So it's kind of like you're thinking you're paying the same, but you're paying less. So that's another way how inflation works. Um, so inflation usually creeps up over time. So sometimes we're able to keep up with it as the inflation, different prices goes up. A lot of times we get some, what you call it, another word I'm adding, the cost of living goes up. So sometimes you get a raise in the cost of living. Sometimes I say, not all the time, but as things go up, a lot of times your salary has to go up to try to keep up with that. So over time, inflation moves up slowly. But then when the economy is tore upside down and sideways, the inflation shoots up more drastically. All right. So your money buys less. And, that affects everybody, everybody in your home, everybody. So now another word I'm just learning is called stagflation. Stagflation is the economy. So that's the economy's worst combo. That's the worst situation when we have high inflation plus high employment. So that means a lot of products are costing more, and I think that's where we are now. A lot of things are costing more, and high employment. A lot of people losing a job. A lot of people losing jobs. So that's high employment. A lot of people out of work, not able to put money into the economy, and then a lot of prices are going up. So a lot of the unemployment is kind of like self-inflicted. So it's a lot of things that's going on in the economy now that's self-inflicted. We self-inflicted. Anyway, something you do something to yourself. So instead of working on the economy with a scalpel, you seen the videos. We are working on the economy with chainsaws and sledgehammers. So uh, that it's just gonna cause issues. It's gonna cause problems instead of being precise in solving issues. So prices rise and jobs disappear. That's a bad situation. It's like a traffic jam, and you have a flat tire at the same time. That's a bad situation to be in. So we are kind of in that situation. But we got to keep on moving. We got to keep on living. All right, moving on to the next words: physical and monetary policies. Physical and monetary policies. That you're saying, what in the world are you talking about? So I will tell you about these different things that's going on. There's different things happening in the government, in the economy. I'm sorry. different things are happening in the economy, but the government is not helpless to do anything about it. The government has some tools up its sleeve to try to, to manipulate and change different things. So one of the tools is called a physical policy. The government can raise taxes or lower taxes. They can spend more or spend less. So it's kind of like they can put the throttle. So we can raise taxes, but it's not, raising taxes takes a lot of votes and stuff. So raising taxes could help out the economy and the government. Lower taxes, um, and even the country spending more or spending less. So they have all these different policies. So you always see that tug of war between our major parties of, one person, no, we need to save, another person, no, we need to buy this, no, we need to save. But this is very important. So that's what they're arguing about. Um, One side, they're trying to determine what's important, that's what needs to continue to have, and what doesn't, or do we need to raise taxes to continue to have different things for different people? So we know a lot of our services, social services, our safety net, um, like uh, um, man, my brain just uh, like providing food for people in need of food, and money for housing, money for health care. So those type things that the government are put money aside for. But then there's other things where money, they want to put money at. Yes, it's a big argument about cutting different things. So if you see in the news, it's where you see people protesting. They're protesting about um, some people want to give this ultra rich, the super rich, more tax breaks. So they don't want them to have to put money into the government system. But the government is, we're going to get to this later, in debt. So we need like everybody participating, but they prefer, let's give breaks to the ultra wealthy. And so we still need to find some money. Where do we get this money from? Let's go to the needy and cut what we're giving to them. So that's why they're trying to make up the money. Leave the rich alone and give them another tax break, and then go to the poor and needy and cut what they are getting, what they're receiving, and then we can come up. Well, it's still not working, but anyway, just give you an idea. That's all this is base idea of what you see in the government, what you see in the news, what you see in Congress. That's what's going on. That is like a tug of war. They're trying to figure out, who we want to help. Who do we want to give money to? Where we need to take money from. And even you saw kind of like what's going on with the stock market. The stock market is, I believe, it runs parallel with our economy, and a lot of things was destroying the stock market. And then just a couple of tweaks, it make the stock market crash. A couple other tweaks make the stock market go up. So I think some people are just playing around with the system, and it's hurting a lot of people. I think a lot of people has lost a lot of money. If they had to, if you got a 401k, got some mutual funds, a lot of people are losing a lot of their life savings. This is my opinion. People are losing a lot of their life savings, are just people playing games and have it set up for the rich to keep on getting richer, and the poor are losing a lot of their money. So, okay, that's that. So that's the stock market. So when they want to boost up the economy. Okay, when they want to increase it. So even sometimes like wars, war is a bad thing, but it boosts it up. A lot of stuff, a lot of wheels get to churning. A lot of business, a lot of stuff gets starting to get made, and economy starts to grow. So yes, I believe there's been times of war to just prop up and build up economies off of war. And we know there's a lot of wars where there's certain rich people, they finance both sides. It's like gambling. Okay, I'm putting my money on you. I'm putting my money on you. No matter what, I'm gonna win. We don't care about the people on the inside or the people who have to suffer, but I'm going to win and get rich. All right. Yeah. Anyway, yeah, the government still, they can figure out a way they can spend money on um, building roads, schools, and different infrastructure that's needed. So that helps out. And then they can also cut and close stuff, close schools, close things that help people. So anyway, like I said, it's a tug of war. So that's for all the different arguments and battles and votes and stuff that's going on in Congress. So a bad economy is good for the rich and not so good for the working class. That shady. So if we got a pretty decent economy chucking right along, doing all right, and so the working people, you figure out how to make your bills, pay your bills. Okay, you know what your payment is, you know what the electric bill is, you know everything is. So you go ahead and get everything lined up. You set your budget, so you're good. So the economy is trucking along. You're all right. But the rich can make more money if the economy is jacked up and you don't know what's going to happen next. So you see that the economy is all over the place, and average working people having a hard time because they don't know, different things keep going up, keep going sideways. Everything's going up. So you had it stabilized, but now everything's going up. And now you got to figure out a way to keep up. But it's hard because our finances are not keeping up with the different things that's going up. So um, I believe that our economy is under attack. Again, it's still me speaking. Uh, it's just certain things that I think they could just left it alone and let it work itself out and let the economy work itself out. But I think some people decide especially I believe rich people, they already got it figured out. If we do this right here and do that right there, we can make a whole lot of money, and that's what they're doing. And a lot of people, a lot of working people lost a lot of money. Even we remember when the housing crisis, a lot of the rich people didn't lose the money. Ordinary people lost their money, their stock on their 401ks and different things, their pensions, and there was some other things in the past where that happened. Where the ordinary, hardworking people, they were the ones that was stuck holding the bag, as you would say. Okay, so here we go next. Then there's the monetary policy. That's ran by the central banks, aka the Feds. The Feds that run the federal with everything that's written, your money written on the bills. That's the Fed, but that's not the federal government. Don't have time to get into that, but it's a separate business that makes the money. So they control the interest rate, they control the money supply. I know probably sometimes we heard that they print more money. They can print more money or get rid of money, so they're kind of like looking at, okay, if we put more money in the economy, it's going to cause inflation. But it can cause this problem, or we take money out, it causes this problem or solves another one. So they're playing with the system too by adding more money into the system, removing money. I think that's part of why our like inflation, where there's a whole lot of money in the system. If there's a whole lot of money in the system, that means a lot of people have it. If a lot of people have it, that means is a lot of people with a lot of money that's going after the same product. So you imagine you got one product and all you want is $1, and you just got a few people with the dollar to pay for that one product. So now you got one product, you got 100 people with the dollar and want that same product. So now how do you deal with that? You raise the price to $2. So now the people have to go get $2, so there should be less people with the $2 that can buy your product. So that's kind of like how flooding the market. I remember it was one country down in South America. I can't remember which. I think it was South America. And anyway, they flooded their market with a whole lot of money to where it was like hundreds, even thousands of their currencies to just buy a loaf of bread. So they messed up. They messed it up bad to where their what am I trying to say? Their man, I know it's late. My brain, They messed up. They messed up their economy by flooding the system with the money supply, and that's how I believe that's a one way. If we're in the future, we're going to be off the dollar. We're going to be. They want us to go to a cashless society, and that could be one way to force people to get rid of the cash and go to a cashless society. When you make the dollar, make all the money that people have out here, make it about worthless, and then have a digital currency, then you're forced to go to the digital currency if the store is only accepting the digital and they're not accepting the dollar. So I don't know. Some people saying they're keeping their money in their houses under their mattress like they did in the old days. But it could be a point in time where you can have thousands of dollars under your mattress and they decide to the flick of a switch that dollar's not worth anything anymore. So just be cautious. Okay. So yeah, so that was the feds with the money. So the more money floating around, the more money they print, the more money they put in the system, the less your money is worth. Yeah, the less is worth. Um, but the more money out there, you can get cheaper loans. People are spending more. Then if you take it back, like I said, if they cut, let's say, is that I think I already brought that point home. But let's say I'm just using another example. Let's say you have $1,000, and that $1,000 is worth a certain amount, but then the government pumps out a whole lot of more money, and more people got more money. Your $1,000 is not as strong as it was when it was less bills on the street. I think you got it now. So sometimes if you keep the money under your sheets and not using your money to make money, your money should be working for you, making money. If it's under your sheets, it's not making money, so it's really losing value every day. It's under the mattress. And it's something to think about. Okay, so it's a battle with the Fed. So they like, okay, how much should we put in? How much should we put out? So they're trying to tackle inflation. They don't, it's another balance. Like thermostat. They're going constantly back and forth. So I know, like, but yeah, it's in the news sometime too. But that's what they're doing. They're trying to find that balance to keep the economy moving, keep the economy going. They don't want the economy to fall apart. They always try to find a balance. Too much of anything can cause the economy to crash. We don't want that. Okay, well, ordinary, hardworking people don't want that. Um, okay, moving on. The next one we're going to be talking about is the national debt. The national debt. I know if you are of any kind of working age, you've heard of the national debt. We're constantly um, hearing about it. There's a ticker. It's kind of sad. If you can look it up, it's one ticker. It's like it's tracking everything. But the biggest thing you can watch, see how fast that the national debt clock is moving. And when I was preparing for this, I think we're around $36 trillion, more than $36 trillion in debt, and rising every second. It's going up. $36 trillion. So that's the national debt that every single citizen in the United States owes certain. I forgot. You can look that number up too. I think on the same website it shows every citizen in the United States how many thousands of dollars that it will take from each one of us to pay this off. So that number that's beside your name is ticking too. Is running, tick, 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 getting higher and higher every day. And even your children who haven't even did anything, as soon as they're born, they're in debt. That is sad. But they still say we're the richest country in the world. We're the richest and the most in debt. So how can that How can that be? How in the world is that? Okay, so every American owes thousands. So the government owes. So a lot of wars on different crises, natural disasters, um, uh, different programs, all sorts of things needs money. So we go in debt to pay for it. So too much debt can be risky. like maxing out a credit card. So if $36 trillion is not maxed out the government's credit card, I don't know where is the credit card limit. So that goes to the next word is the next word is the debt ceiling. So what's the debt ceiling is when the government, Congress, senators, congressmen, they have to argue and scream about where where's the limit where that credit card will be maxed out. So imagine years ago they probably said we're gonna max it out at $1 trillion. And they probably said we're never gonna hit $1 trillion, or we're gonna max out at $1 trillion. And then when it got to $1 trillion, the government was about to be shut down. So they had to um, have a vote to raise that debt ceiling from $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion. And then you know what happened next. So we done went from a trillion to 36 trillion. So that constantly has to keep on having a vote to raise the debt ceiling. So that's all. So it's like they are giving themselves more, raising that credit limit. Was my glasses crooked? Man, I was sitting here looking crazy. Okay. Uh okay, so that's how that so that so that's the national debt and the national debt ceiling. So now when you hear the government is about to get shut down, they got to have a vote, and that's one thing they're voting about, um, uh, how if they should raise the debt ceiling and how much they're going to raise the debt ceiling to keep the government moving. Okay, so I'm all for um, working things out and balance. I don't know how it's possible, but it's not for me to figure that out. But I'm all behind um, being out of debt because we are slave to our debtors, but it's still a certain way to do it. And what y'all been watching the news. What's been going on in the news is like they're saying they're going in with sledgehammers and with the chainsaws and doing all different things to cut the debt. So they are cutting things, they're finding things, but if you really take a look at it, be truthful, more money is being spent than what's being saved. That's it's crazy. So we're cutting small things that's hurting people, hurting the poor and hurting, but then we're spending even more. All right, just just saying. Moving on. Just educational purposes only. That's all. That's all. Okay. Next is a word that I probably heard. It's called recession. Recession. Recession is not a good word. Um, yes, I know you got the feeling. Yeah, recession. They always, whenever they say the word recession, it's always something negative. Um, a recession is when the economy shrinks for several months in a row. So what do you mean by the economy shrinking? There's a lot of jobs being lost. So okay, you know naturally if the economy is chucking along, people are going to lose a certain amount of people are going to lose their job. Then we had the pandemic, a lot of people lost their job. So we know that. So we're back on the feet. The economy is back on its feet, and the workforce was sort of stable. But we got the sledgehammer that came through, started deporting people, deporting workers, and then start firing the people. So there's a whole lot of people out of work. So now that is shaking up the economy, and then a lot of businesses have to cut back with some because they don't have the workers, or yeah, some lost workers, and then others, when the workers got fired, they lost their jobs, so they stopped buying from the different things. So now when they stopped spending the money they were spending, so that who they like, let's just say like a restaurant, You got certain employees that was working at this office building. You got uh, 500 people working in this office building, and they were going to this particular sandwich shop or row of sandwich shop or food trucks. So every day, those food trucks were feeding these 500 people. And then someone come through, we're going to shut this whole building down. So all those 500 people no longer work there. So now all those businesses and all those sandwich shops, all those food trucks no longer have their 500 customers. So now they either have to find another spot or they might have to lay off. So it's like a domino effect. So that's what happened. A lot of people lose their job. So now that's helping us go towards a recession. But I've heard some economists say that you really don't know that you don't know about a recession until after the fact. A lot of times when you're in the middle of it, it's like I forget how they explained it. It's basically looking back. You have to go through a period of time and then look back. Oh, we was in a recession during that time. It's not like in the middle of. So they're trying to say that we probably in, by the indications that it looks like we may be in a recession. But I think what they're saying, they really cannot 100% say that we were in a recession until after the fact, because you count the jobs losses, then you see the effect. So you have to see the effect after the fact instead when you're in the middle of it. Okay, I think I'm over explaining it. When you're in the middle of the storm, a lot of times you really don't know that you're in the middle of the storm until you start seeing all the debris to start falling around you. Like, oh, I guess I was in the middle of a storm. Okay, we're going. Okay. So, like I said, a lot of job losses, businesses closing. Um, it's just a big time domino effect with these big gigantic dominoes. It's not the little dominoes that you can go in there and grab it and stop it. These are big giant dominoes. When you get them falling over, it takes a while to get these dominoes back up and running again. Like I said, we really don't know for sure until some months later, then we're able to look back. Now, this big word, somebody, I don't know if y'all saw the video, somebody said that this was their favorite word that they love to use. I've heard it over the years, but we really wasn't hearing it too much because a lot of people, especially the governments, try not to use it. I know y'all know it. I believe y'all know what I'm going to get ready to say. The word is tariffs. Yes. And yeah, like I said, our leader said that is his favorite word. And I think you saw, was it last week? I think it was last week when they signed the executive order and put a tariff on every single country in the world and even territories where no one lives there. Put a tariff on them, and people who had never put a tariff on us before put a tariff on them. All those people got a tariff, except for our enemies. Our enemies didn't get a tariff, so it's kind of a reason why that happened. So tariffs. So some people, it's going on around everywhere. I see all these videos, TikTok video, all these different types of videos, and you see a lot of people don't understand how tariffs work. So let me just the legal version of how tariffs work. So if you, especially in a country, you don't even have to be a country, be in a different territory. So anyway, let's say, okay, I should have thought about this before I got started. We go to two countries. I live in a country, and it's several reasons why a tariff we can use a tariff, but I think the reasons why that one of the reasons that was given was that we were not treated fairly, or the same amount of money wasn't being spent both ways. So basically, anyway, okay, from what I saw in the news was, let's say like Canada, we were spending way many more millions of dollars was going to Canada than what Canada was spending money here in the United States. So they say, hey, that's not fair. We're sending more money up there, and y'all sending less money here. So we can put a tariff and make more of y'all money to come down here than what's going up there. But if you just crash the surface a little bit, there are around 340 million Americans that love to shop. 340 million Americans that shop, and there are around 40 million Canadians. So how can the 40 million Canadians spend as much money as the 340 million Americans? So it's not going to be equal. It's not possible. They can't spend as much. So there's a lot of countries like that. I saw the number one country, and I can't even remember the name of that country. It's a poor country, and yes, um, they get a lot of money. They buy a lot of the United States buy a lot of minerals and all sorts of things from that country, and that country doesn't spend that much back. It's okay. Let's put a tariff on them until they treat us fairly. Well, that's a dirt poor country. The citizens don't have the money to buy products from the United States like we do. They're not rich. They're not a rich country like us. So it doesn't make sense to put a tariff on this country where people don't have money to buy. So yeah. So anyway, so that's that one thing. So then the tariffs are supposed to hurt the other country, but that's not how a tariff works. Let's say um, I got a pen and a pen. I got I got this pen we sell here in the United States, and we got this pen coming from another country. So we want to put a tariff. We want to sell our pens in the United States at $100, and these pens were coming in at 75, and people buying these pens. So we're going to put a tariff on these pens. So now these pens are going to cost $150, and the people are saying that those people are going to have to pay for it. They don't. If the United States citizen still wants this pen or needs this pen, he has to pay the tariff. We have so it's like a tax. It's a tax on us. So it's basically trying to prevent us from buying this particular item. It's not that person. That person, when a business in the United States gets the product, they have to pay the tariff. That country didn't have to pay the tariff. They still sent it at the same price. This person has to pay the tariff, and then I just had to pay $50 more. So I need to charge my customer extra $50. So there are certain things where um, they're talking about we're going to bring manufacturing back to the United States, where they have built up the manufacturing overseas. So they took stuff overseas because it was cheaper labor. It was cheaper. That's like think about you got like I can say these big old country companies. So we have to pay. I'm just there's something else going down another rabbit hole. Okay, if I got to pay this person um, $40 an hour in America to make this product, but if I go over um, to another country, I just pay them $10 an hour to make the product. So it makes sense to go over there, to go overseas. So now they go overseas and make the product. So they're saying, let's bring the manufacturing back to the United States. I don't see that happening. Well, one, it takes years. Um, come on, it takes years for that to happen. What I'm trying to say, it takes years to build up the manufacturer. What is my phone? I'm sorry if y'all hear this beeping. It would take years to even get the system up and running again. But then a lot of the companies like it's not even feasible. Why do that and bring manufacturing back when it's cheaper to keep it where it is. Um, so I don't see the manufacturing coming back, and I don't see the American workers going back into working in the warehouse like they back in the day. Um, yes, we have some work. We do have some warehouse workers, but not like years ago. We've moved on. We are technology. We work on computers. There's a whole lot of different things that Americans have skills to do, and it's not feasible to bring all these warehouses back and put who in the warehouse. Who's going to go in the warehouse? A lot of the workers who don't mind working in a warehouse, we are kicking them out of the country right now. We're kicking them out of the country, and we're talking about let's bring the warehouse jobs back, and who's going to work that job? So unless it's going to be forced labor, so we can jack up the economy. If you mess up the economy so much and um, make people lose their jobs and have them desperate, so okay, now that's a way to get them um, back into the warehouse. Get the warehouse force back up again. But I believe they got the if they was paying a lower rate overseas for them to keep everything similar, they would have to lower the rate over here. And I believe a lot of Americans are not going to go for um, getting paid that much of a difference because we can't even survive. A lot of these other countries, it doesn't cost, the cost of living is nowhere near what our cost of living is. So that's why we need high in our, and again, some of the words that we use, inflation, or that our dollar doesn't go as far, here. So I'm not an economist at all, but when I see, I don't see that working. Okay, um, so anyway, so that's uh, I know I went down that rabbit hole, and then get back out that rabbit hole, get back up here. So I don't think the tariffs tariffs is working, and as you see, there's a lot of backtracking now. I think order just went in to take off the tariffs from big ticket items like TVs and I think auto parts. I forget all of them, but I believe that came from a lot of these business owners, these corporation owners. They started complaining because it was hitting them in the pocket big time. They started complaining, so they were able to have the exception to the rule, so their items they can continue to sell the items in their stores, or continue to bring their products back to the United States without the fear of the tariffs. But that's not really fair to everyone. Everybody don't have that capability. There are some small business owners. I think I just heard one today where someone ordered, something, and they have to pay this extra tariff because they have to fulfill their order. And a lot of people, they want to stay in business, but um, it's kind of hard when what I think what some of the tariffs was supposed to be like 150%. That means whatever your product cost. Let's say your product was $100. Not your product. Let's take it. Your you paid $100 for your product to come in, and then you had to pay the government another $150 on top of that. So now your product costs you $250, and you might have not even been charging that much, or that might be where you charge. That might be your price. So now you have no margin of making a profit. So some people are losing out just to keep business, and hopefully, it would change. So basically, tariffs so far it's not a good thing. It's a good tactic, but it really hurts the country. So even when these other people they have counter tariffs, they're really hurting their people. But the sad thing is we are a consuming country. We are a bunch of consumers. So um, what I mean by that is I saw I don't know if y'all noticed it. There are a um, lot of companies on TikTok and Facebook, anything. They're showing their businesses, their factories and everything, and they're saying there's a way to get around the tariff. Um, and like I said, some of the tariffs are going away. But anyway, what I'm trying to say is, it was a guy in his house, and he was like, "I'm in China, and you in America, and the majority of your stuff in America is made in China." And then he was like, "Okay, now I'm in China, and 0% of things in my house is made in America. So how would the tariffs hurt him? We're the ones that's bringing stuff in. What we will do, how we can hurt them is a lot of the technology. So we are a country with technology, and we are selling that like crazy around the world. So when they was looking at the tariffs, they was looking at how much products that the other countries was buying from us, but they were not looking at all the technology and different things like that they were buying from us. So we were killing it on the technology side, and the computers and the programs and the apps and all those type of things. So we are killing it. So it might be unfair to these other countries that doesn't do that, but they only looked at the other products and say, oh, it's unfair that United States spend more money buying stuff than these other countries do, so we need to put a tariff on it. And it was really uh, another bat upside the head of our economy. So we, like I said, I told you, it was getting attacked by a bat, a chainsaw, and getting kicked and stumped and spit on and just chewed all up. And the ultra wealthy, man, don't bother them. It's the ordinary working class, working people. That's who it affects. Every little thing. And I even saw this another. Well, yeah, I guess. Yeah, tariffs was my last main word I wanted to talk about. Um, so I don't think it's a good thing, and a lot of people in the party are realizing that tariffs are not a good thing. And then to do it to your friends, people that we've been um, allies to for 50, 80, 100 years, and for no apparent reason, we're just gonna tariff them. We're like, we're gonna punch you. We're gonna hurt you. Well, basically, we slinging this bat around. We don't care who it hits. So we don't care if we have relationships. But anyway, I keep going down my opinion. So that's the tariff. So what do we learn? Again, yeah, tariffs is a tax on American people, tax on their imports. It's not really hurting. It will hurt the other country, if we stop buying the product. But we're in a place where we're unable to make all those products. Years ago, and it was our government decided to, yes, open the doors. Let's go overseas and buy warehouses, build warehouses, and hire the local workers, put them to work, and then ship it back to the United States. Because the United States got the money to buy it, it's cheaper to make it over there. Man, they was rolling over that's how you can imagine. That's how so many of them got these millions upon millions and billions upon billions of dollars, because they just rolling in the cash. I just saw this. I just saw this one video that they're telling the people in China, asking Americans in other countries just to come over there and buy it yourself. So a lot of stuff has been changed. Yeah, I don't know if y'all heard about that. Have y'all heard that they're showing there's a lot of companies, like it's a lot. I think a lot of these fancy companies, they let's say, like I don't know. I don't know, should I pick on a handbag? Pick on a handbag. Let's say a handbag by a fancy designer designs this handbag, and they say the handbag should cost 1,000. They sell it for $1,000. Then they go to China and say, hey, I need y'all to make this handbag. How much can you make it for? We can make it for $5. Okay, bet. You make the handbag for $5, put my logo up there, we bringing it back to the United States, selling it for $1,000. Now you see how there are so many billionaires, because that's how they're sucking the American people dry by this extraordinary, exorbitant overpricing of things, mainly for labeling. So what I'm seeing on a lot of these videos now, are they're showing what they say, they spilling the tea, they letting everybody know how cheap stuff is, how cheap these companies are buying stuff for, and then boosting the prices. So now, not only are they doing that, they open up the door for ordinary people to buy directly from the company. So that's how, so that's how they're getting away with, I don't know, getting around it. But instead of a company in the past, if they would have to buy 10,000 pieces and, at a lower price, the more you buy, the cheaper it is. So you can imagine, buying a big shipment of products, paying a little bit of money, bringing it back here, and what is it, quadrupling or raising the price multiple times and making a killing. So now they're saying you can come to our warehouse, and instead of you having to buy 10,000, we let you buy one. And so that's a game changer. I know 10,000 people, 1,000 people are not going to be able to take that trip. But imagine, people who, they're trying to hurt with the tariff, they're able to travel and go get stuff themselves. And the other thing, there's one place, it was this big, gigantic warehouse. She showed this humongous warehouse. And I believe that's where a lot of stuff they get for the dollar store. So, our dollar store now is $1.25 and more. That store, the lady said the stuff cost 20 cents. Everything in the whole warehouse was 20 cents. So imagine just $1. So yeah, we getting a deal paying $1.25, but they were paying, probably 10, 15 cents. So now 20 cents for these items that we're paying $1.25. That's a nice good old markup. But imagine other stores, some of the dollar store stuff is in other stores, and they can sell the stuff for $5. So they pay 20 cents, and they have you paying $5. So yeah, China and other countries, they are letting people know a lot of the secrets and stuff, and giving people direct access to stuff that we didn't have access for before. And in another thing, I'm sorry, it was another one I just remembered too. The counterfeiting. China used to crack down on the counterfeiting, and because of the tariff, they said they're no longer cracking down on the counterfeiting. So it's no telling how many counterfeit things. But the thing is, some of the stuff is low quality, but some of the stuff is the same exact product. It could be like a shirt. You can have a four label, four different people, and put a name on the same shirt, and just put that logo on the same shirt, or change it a little. Sometimes they tweak it, sometimes they don't. But anyway, they yeah, they letting everybody know what's been going on, and they trying to make open ways up for people to have direct access, and to not even pay all those high prices that we were paying in the past. Okay, so yeah, the idea of tariffs are to make you buy local. I like that idea, but some of the stuff is not feasible, not possible for us to buy local. So yeah, there you have it. So I hope you learned something. I'm looking over here. I see there's a whole lot of comments. I had so much information. I didn't want to be slowed down by getting twisted up with the comments. Um, is your head hurting right now? If your head is hurting from all the stuff that we just went over, that's a good thing. That means your brain is being worked out. You're learning something new is getting crammed inside your brain. So we covered a lot of stuff tonight. So we went over some basic stuff. We talked about the GDP. We know what the GDP, gross domestic product, means. We know what inflation. We know what stagflation means. We know more about unemployment, fiscal policies, monetary policies, the national debt ceiling. recession, and the big one that's in the news every day is the tariffs. So the next time you hear people talking about some of these things, you will have some idea what they're talking about, and you can say, "Little Joe over there told me about it." All right, thank y'all for watching. Thank y'all for watching. Please hit subscribe. Let us know what other topics that we can break down. I can let you know what's going on. Try to break it down to the ordinary Joe can understand. All right, all right. I'm gonna read over your comments, and there I got over 80 comments I need to take a look at. So I'm gonna end it here, and then if I'm gonna look at the comments, and then if whatever the comments is, if we want to have another talk and dive deeper into some of the things that I said, or if some people are not agreeing with some of the things I said, we can do it. I have a part 2 of teaching the basic information about the economy. Okay, everybody, be blessed. Until next time, Lil Joe out.